The Washington Post published a piece essentially saying, yes, kink belongs at Pride, and I want my kids to see it. The subtitle of this is Children Need to Know That They Can Make Their Own Way in the World. The author of this is Lauren Rowello, and she talks about taking her young children to the Pride Parade. And this is what she said. Our elementary schooler pointed in the direction of oncoming floats, raising an eyebrow at a bare-chested man in dark sunglasses whose black suspenders clipped into a leather thong. The man paused to be spanked playfully by a partner with a flog. What are they doing? My curious kid asks as our toddler cheered them on. Let me just sidebar here. Curious kid is more like traumatized and now damaged kid because you are a bad parent. The pair was on, this is what she writes, the pair was the first of a few dozen kinksters who danced down the street, laughing together as they twirled their whips and batons, some leading companions by leashes. At the time, my children were too young to understand the nuance of the situation, so I told them the truth that these folks were members of our community celebrating who they are and what they like to do. When my children caught glimpses of kink culture, they got to see that the queer community encompasses so many more non-traditional ways of being, living, and loving. If we want our children, she writes, to learn and grow from their experiences at Pride, we should hope that they'll encounter kink when they attend. How else can they learn about the scope and vitality of queer life? Okay, so let's back up for a second here. So we're already told that if we oppose the federal government codifying gay marriage, redefining marriage to include homosexual relationships, that we are homophobes. We are then told if we oppose children being chemically castrated, their bodies mutilated with hormones and then surgery, that we are transphobes. And so now apparently the next evolution of this is that if we don't want to expose our children to kink, to bondage, to leather sexual fetishes, then we are not fully exposing them to the scope and vitality of queer life. This will be the next thing that the left will label us, those of us who maybe we're conservative, maybe we're Christians, maybe we're not. Maybe we're just parents who don't want our children exposed to sex as little kids and then to perverted sexual fetishes, ever, but specifically as kids. We will be labeled as something wrong with us. We will have psychological professionals. We will have the medical community. We will have the political sphere, the punditry, all telling us that there's something wrong with us. And this is where red flag laws become so dangerous, because the same so-called experts who will tell us that something is wrong with us for not wanting our children to be exposed to, kinky sex at the Pride Parade, they will be the ones determining whether or not we are allowed to have guns, whether we can be deprived due process and law enforcement can simply take guns away from us, maybe because an ex-partner from a relationship that went sour reported us, maybe because a coworker is just uncomfortable with guns, maybe a picture we posted online. Who knows what it might be? But this, of course, can be abused at multiple levels. People who don't like you or don't like your politics could report you. And then law enforcement can be weaponized by politicians in order to deprive us of these rights.